Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Jacob, and today we're going to talk about my greatest obsession, music. And not just any music, the music of Snarky Puppy. In the middle of the night in 2016, I was scrolling through YouTube and I came across Lingus. I'd never heard such coordination and creativity and pure talent and skill from every single musician in the room. I'm sure I'm not alone because the YouTube views for Lingus here in November of 2024 sits somewhere around 36 million views. What grabbed me first was the rhythm. Larnell Lewis wasn't just keeping time, he was bending time with impressive gospel chops and disorienting fills that tastefully hide the one. Michael League plays bass like he's the framework for the entire sound, rarely stepping outside of the composition, and really impressing the hell out of me when he chooses to. And then, there's the keyboard solo by Corey Henry. That was my first introduction to jazz harmony, all held together by a very stripped-down drum rhythm that evolved into its own solo over the course of Corey Henry's improvisation. This solo is so iconic that just saying the Lingus solo gets instant recognition from my musician friends. In just 3 minutes, this performance completely shattered everything I thought I knew about songwriting, harmony, melody, and music theory. This track is from their 6th record called We Like It Here, recorded live in front of a studio audience in the Netherlands back in 2014. Not only might this be my favorite of their entire discography, but they're actually releasing a remastered version of it December 6th. It's supposed to have alternative takes from their performance as well. You should really go check it out. From that moment on, I began searching out groups like Chick Corea Electric Band or Weather Report or the Brecker Brothers, and this style of jazz fusion completely replaced all of the hard rock and pop I had listened to for the rest of my life. And the other side effect of this is that I became a massive Snarky Puppy fan. At this point in my life, I've seen them twice in concert, once for the Emigrants Tour, and then once again for Empire Central. As you can see, I got a little trophy from when I went. At the end of that show, I actually got to take a picture with some of the members of the band, which I'll put up on the screen for you. And they signed this t-shirt, though I don't think you can see it anymore because I wore it and washed it enough times. Unfortunately, the ink's washed out by now. I also got to see Tank and the Bangas open up for Corey Henry and the Funk Apostles. I dove into this band's discography and it completely changed the way that I approach making music. One of my favorite things about studying a growing musical group is tracing the connections that they have to other artists across the music industry. This is why I consider Snarky Puppy to be one of the most important groups of our generation. It all starts with GroundUp Music, the record label that they established. You should check out their roster for a year's worth of artists and music to listen to. But for now, let's focus on the group. Snarky Puppy calls itself a collective more than a band, with members moving between solo projects and other groups. As we dive deeper into it, you'll start to see why I almost labeled this video the Snarky Puppy Iceberg. I dug through their own website and the internet broadly to find a list of band members past and present and came up with a roster to challenge that of Steely Dan. I found Michael League on bass, Mark Lettieri on guitar, Robert Sput Seawright on drums, Sean Martin on keyboards, rest in peace, Bobby Sparks on keyboards, Bill Lawrence on keyboards, Justin Stanton on trumpets and keyboards, Bob Lanzetti on guitar, Chris McQueen on guitar, Mike Maz Mayer on trumpet, Jay Jennings on trumpet, Chris Bullock on tenor sax, flute, and clarinet, Bob Reynolds on saxophone, Zach Brock on violin, Nate Worth on percussion, Marcelo Woloshi on percussion and drums, I hope I'm saying that right, Keita Ogawa on percussion and drums, also hope I'm saying that right, Jameson Ross on drums, Larnell Lewis on drums, Jason J.T. Thomas on drums, and Corey Henry on keyboards and organs. If I've missed any members, which I'm sure I have, please feel free to let me know in the comments section below. They also say on multiple sites, quote, they each maintain busy schedules as sidemen, working with artists like Erykah Badu, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, and D'Angelo, as well as producers for Kirk Franklin, David Crosby, Salif Keita, and many other solo artists on the GroundUp record label. This quote shows how many incredible talents exist inside of this collective, and how deeply connected they are to the overall music industry. They've worked with massive artists, legends with huge followings and lasting legacies. And remember, we've barely even scratched the surface of all of the other musicians on their record label. The impact that this collective has had on the musical world is mind-blowing. But where did Snarky Puppy come from? Snarky Puppy was formed in 2004 in Denton, Texas. Snarky Puppy's first album, The Only Constant, was released in 2006. I'll put a picture up on the screen so you can get an idea for the depth of their discography. They've got several releases. The record label GroundUp was founded alongside the album of the same name as a subsidiary of Rope-A-Dope Records. And let me tell you, their discography is deep, each album showing a distinct evolution in their sound. But the real magic of Snarky Puppy, I think, is that there's something in this group for every kind of musician. I primarily play guitar, but I've learned so much about bass, drums, and keys from watching the musicians in this band. Snarky Puppy gives each instrument and player room to shine, allowing them to express themselves authentically within the composition. Very few bands showcase this many virtuoso-level talents in one group. It's something super special. Now we're going to take a dive into GroundUp's roster to give some context as to the depth of Snarky Puppy's influence. For reference, I'll put on the screen a list of all the names I could find from GroundUp's website. Keep in mind that if a name pops up on this roster of a member of Snarky Puppy, this probably means that they have solo releases. Very many, if not all of them, do work on their own. The first one I found was Mark Lettieri's solo career. Of course, because I'm a guitar player, and because he spent quite a few albums showing the capabilities of a baritone guitar, which is super unusual, but yielded awesome, funky, genre-bending tunes. The next group I found was House of Waters, who actually opened up for Snarky Puppy at their show at the Ryman Auditorium during the Emigrants Tour. This is a very cool trio that showcases the capabilities of a 6-string bass guitar player, a hammered dulcimer player, which I've never heard before, and an awesome drummer. This is some of the most relaxing music in the world, I'm not gonna lie. I also found Charlie Hunter, who showcases the capabilities of hybrid guitars. Very similar to baritone guitars, these guitars have an extended scale length from fanned frets, which allows them to attach both bass and lower guitar strings to give a very, very interesting all-in-one type of guitar tone. Lucy Woodward did an album with Charlie Hunter, and it was actually really good. And I was actually surprised to learn how much Charlie had contributed to D'Angelo's Voodoo from 2000, particularly the song The Root. I myself still haven't sorted and listened to every single artist on this roster, but it's got plenty of homework for me in the future. Once I compiled all the information I could find about the members of Snarky Puppy and the members of the GroundUp roster, I decided to create a working tally of Grammy Award nominations and Grammy wins. Keep in mind, this might be wrong, and if you guys can offer any more information in the comments, once again, I'd love to know it. I entered every single name on this list into the Grammy database and found that they had a combined 41 Grammy nominations and 7 Grammy wins. This is insane. Whether I missed some or not, this is an incredibly impressive number. I think that the results of the vast pool of talent and creativity that I've just talked about, combined with the discography and the big names that these musicians have played alongside, solidifies Snarky Puppy as one of, if not the most important musical group of our generation. And they certainly are for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this deep dive into Snarky Puppy. If you've never listened to him, please go take a look. And if you do listen to Snarky Puppy, tell me your favorite tracks in the comments below. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. And if you like the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Video editing, script editing, and creative assistance by Teresa Morrison. Research and public speaking by Jacob Morrison.